time, the homicide detectives call what's called the on-call deputy district attorney for the homicide. That deputy district attorney who's on call goes out to the scene with the detectives. In this case, it doesn't seem like that happened because San Bernardino Sheriff's Department
One, two.
was handling the call and the investigation. So at some point, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department would have looped in Riverside Sheriff's Police Department. Once the Riverside Sheriff's Police Department is looped in,
One, two.
then the district attorney's office becomes also looped in. So at some point, it's my understanding from speaking with several of the detectives from the Sheriff's Department that Mike Hudson's office is looped into what's going on. They are aware, they have the facts. What happens between now and tomorrow is the deputy district attorney has been assigned to review all the police reports, the body-worn camera, any video footage that they've collected, any forensic interviews that they've collected. That deputy district attorney is writing a memo to present Mike Hudson, who's the DA of Riverside County. In that meeting, there will be several individuals sitting with Mike Hudson, his chiefs, his supervisors, and also the deputy district attorney who will likely be assigned directly. This memo is being prepared to basically summarize for Mike Hudson and all of his colleagues and his staff the strengths of the case, the weaknesses of the case, the prior history of both parents, their criminal history.
And if we just talk about the criminal history, it makes me wonder why they had such a hard time arraigning them. Now, evidently, they have these
All right, y'all.
charges, or it has
Welcome
been
to
judged
Fugitive
as
TV.
at one time stamp. But I mean, again, considering Jake's history, why are we having such a hard time arraigning them? There's blood on the carpet and nothing else. He's taking them out to the field. Like, why are we having to go back and forth with whether we're going to arraign them or not? That doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of details about what's going on with the case and some stuff that I found, some disturbing things that I found actually from doing a bunch of digging. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of details about what's going on with the case and some stuff that I found. Some disturbing things that I found actually doing a bunch of digging. All right, so I was doing some digging last night. Now we all know. Let's keep you up to date. This is about a baby Emmanuel, Jake Haro, Rebecca Haro, the whole family, and everything that's going on. I found some things on Rebecca's mom, her nephew. We talked about her brother, but we're going to get into a little more about her brother and how, when he went to prison. Rebecca was also on the news in 2009 for false reporting of some sort of a baby. So we're going to get into that, and I'm going to show you the things I found on that. Not only that, the nephew of Rebecca. So a lot of people know that Rebecca went to a funeral. I believe it was like right before baby Emmanuel went missing. She went to a funeral. Some people are saying she had a black eye. A lot of people are asking who the funeral was for. So the funeral was for Rebecca's nephew, Charlie. Charlie has a long criminal history. It seems like this whole family does. It's crazy. I found his arrest records that I want to show you guys. I did a lot of digging, and I did a lot. So we're going to get into that. Now, we do know that today they are going to court. They are going to go to court, right? And they're going to go to their arraignment, which is going to be pretty much the judge reading their first, what they're in jail for. Now, there's some reports out there saying that even though they are going to court today, that they could be released because supposedly there's no true criminals, or I should say true criminal charges that have been filed. So what that means is, no matter what, I don't think Jake's getting released. Jake was already on probation. So remember this, Jake's on probation. I don't know if you guys have been on probation before, but when you're on probation, you're not supposed to have no contact with the police whatsoever. He's had contact with the police. He got arrested. So Jake's not even going to have a bond. because he's probably most likely on probation hold, which means his probation officer put a hold on him. So the probation officer actually has the right to hold him in there. Now, I don't know by law how long the probation officer can hold him in there. That part I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. But I do know the probation officer can keep the hold on him. And they're probably asking the probation officer, please keep the hold on this guy, because the longer he's in jail, the longer we have him sitting and looking at these four walls and these bars, he might confess or he might, crack. Because we all know Jake doesn't like to be in jail. He told on his ex-wife. So we all know that, right? So they might try and put the pressure on him. Now, Rebecca, she, as far as we know, she's not on no probation or anything like that. So they can't hold her. So if they don't file an actual charge, she has to be released. So it's all up to pretty much what this judge says at this court hearing. The court hearing is supposed to be within a couple hours. I'm on the East Coast. It's almost 2:30 here. So we're 3 hours ahead of them. It's supposed to be at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock today. I don't know, West Coast time, but they keep changing it. So we're going to find out. But we're going to get into some of the rabbit hole stuff I did find on Rebecca. And it's crazy. It is really crazy. So I'm going to show you guys something here, right, that I've been searching up. So let me go here. So I was actually, searching Rebecca like I usually do. I Google everybody. I go through Facebook. I go through Twitter. I go through TikTok. I go through everything so I can get some hardcore, facts, some evidence. I try not to say a lot of things of speculation that people might say. Like people were saying baby Manuel was found and he really wasn't found. They were saying that because Jake was in the field with the police. I still think he could be leading them on just a goose chase. He could be lying to him. I still think that is possible because he's lied before, right? So that is very much possible. So I do know the one thing here is what I found. Let me see here. So we all know Rebecca's brother, right? So Rebecca's brother was, of course, sentenced to prison for 50 years, for life of his girlfriend because he popped her, shot her. Actually, what happened was he knocked her out, put her in a tub, and then covered himself with a shower curtain and then tried to make it like she committed suicide by shooting her one time in the head. And pretty much they called him lying, right? So here is the news articles in case nobody's ever seen it, just so we can, get that out there. This is really Rebecca's brother. So Palm Springs man sentenced to 50 years to life for a girlfriend. A man convicted of shooting his girlfriend in the head at their Palm Springs apartment and staging a scene that looked like she took her own life, proclaimed his innocence Monday before being sentenced to 50 years in prison. So James, to this day, has been claiming that he's innocent and that his girlfriend, the girl's name was Jalen, took her own life. That's what he's saying. That's what he's been saying. Even Rebecca's mom is saying that. And I'm going to show you where all this is coming from. She's still saying that the girl took her own life, that James didn't do this. So James Bushison, whatever how you pronounce their name, 35, was convicted in July of first-degree murder and March 15, 2017, in the death of Jalen Amanda Keith, who was found with a single wound to the center of her forehead. So he put her in the tub. Like I said, he knocked her out, threw her in the tub, covered himself with plastic or a shower curtain so it splattered, and then went in between their eyes and pretty much let her have it to make it look like she did it, right? Only problem is it's kind of hard for a person, if they're going to do that to themselves. So that's one. Assistant District Attorney Michelle Paradise told jurors that Buhishin retended Keith, I can never pronounce their names. Bushishin, however you say it, rendered Keith unconscious, placed a 27-year-old victim in a tub, and then shot her while shielding himself from blood spatter with a shower curtain. The defendant told investigators responding emergency personnel and a 911 dispatcher that Keith had shot herself while he was sleeping. So supposedly he was asleep. She went in the bathroom and she offed herself. That's what his story is to this day. So the attorney, Greg Johnson, alleged that his James's alcoholism, in addition to debilitating illness Keith was suffering from, pushed her to suicide. So they're saying that she was on drugs and alcohol and things like that. But according to Paradise, a head wound discovered by investigators occurred independently of a gunshot wound, and hinted that Keith may have been assaulted and ordered to stage on apparent, unaliving. So they pretty much found a head wound on her that shows that James hit her first and probably knocked her out. At the defendant's sentencing hearing, Keith's family, who's Jalen, the girl, Keith's family members conveyed how distraught they were over her death and said they would strive to someday forgive him. While James, who joined his family members in addressing the court, decried what they felt was an unfair trial and conviction. Keith's mother, Lynn Lucio Hampill, said James will be able to see his family even if he is behind bars. As you know, we have no visitation rights in heaven. That's wrong. We have no visitation rights in heaven. Think about that for a minute. I pray that someday I will be able to forgive James, but I will never, ever forget. Others were less merciful in their scorn for the defendant. A letter from Keith's stepsister, Cindy Rudai, was read to the court, in which she wrote, "I know what you did is with you every day. When you close your eyes at night, you see her face. You see what you did to her." One of Keith's best friends, Ollie Hopkins, referenced Keith's consistent attempts to get James to quit drinking, which ultimately led her to hand him an ultimate stop drinking or she would leave. Hopkins told James, "I guess she got her wish. You're sober, right?" So there was a message before all this happened with Jalen, who's the girlfriend. She texted her friend. I don't remember if she texted her or called her and said, "Hey, he's been on a 2 or 3 day drinking binge and I'm done with him. I'm leaving him tonight." All this conviction shows is that the system is broken. So James and the family was claiming that the system was broken. James told the court he felt at fault only for letting his alcoholism plague their relationship and drive him from understanding underlying issues which Keith was suffering from. "I will not beg. I will not ask for any leniency. I stand before all you innocent of his crime," he said. "I chose alcohol over everything that was important in my life, my family, my friends, most importantly over Jalen." So he stood in front of the court, kind of took responsibility, but at the same time, it wasn't just responsibility. He pretty much stood in front of the courtroom and tried to play the victim when the victim was no longer here anymore because the victim was decimated in the grave. So he tried to play the victim, thinking it would work in his favor, but it didn't. During the trial, prosecution questioned James' statements regarding the morning of the shooting, particularly his account that he spent between 10 to 20 minutes searching for Keith, which is Jalen, after being aroused from sleep by a popping sound that he believed might have been coming. This is what gets me. He heard the popping sound while he was asleep, right? But thought it came from the air conditioning. I don't know any air conditioning unit out here. Please name me one unit that sounds like a gun just went off. I don't know one. So he thought it was the air conditioning unit. Paradise emphasized that the apartment was about 430 square feet and that the bathroom would have been easily visible from the couple's bed. 430 square feet, that's the size of some people's master bedroom. The bathroom would have been easily visible from the couple's bed. She also described James as a gun enthusiast who regularly went shooting and should have known what a gunshot sounds like. All this evidence right here is what made him guilty. The couple's nearly 5-year relationship deteriorated over James's alcoholism, leading him to undergo rehab stints and triggering several arguments between the two. So we really don't need to read the rest of this. We don't need the rest of this. But that is the background of Rebecca's brother, right? The whole background of court, how he got found guilty, the evidence, and how he tried to cover up the unaliving of his girlfriend, Jalen. So he goes to jail, right? He goes to prison. He gets found guilty and has to serve 50 years. Now, James's family, his mom, Mary, which is also Rebecca's mom, Mary, let me see if I can find it. I should have it up here somewhere. Let's see here. She makes this Facebook page. Where is that? Right here. Justice for James Bushin, or Bushin, however you pronounce they names. Justice for James. She writes, August 5th, 2019, I am ashamed that I have not written to you earlier as your mother requested I do. My only excuse is not a good one. So supposedly she hasn't written to him in years, such and such. But anyway, look at the intro. The Riverside District Attorney's Office used incomplete and misinterpreted evidence to railroad James on a charge of decimating his girlfriend in the first degree. So basically, they made this Facebook page, right? They made the Facebook page claiming that Jalen, the girlfriend, took her own life and that James didn't do it. And to this day, look, an appeal process has been pursued. It's 2019. An appeal process has been pursued. The basis of the appeal is a post-judgment report from the jurors that they ignored evidence and decided prior to its presentation that James was guilty. I have seen all the evidence and find it astounding that anyone evaluating from the evidence could find him guilty. The defense offered by his attorney. Blah, 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 blah. And then underneath that, I'm sorry, but this is all complete bull. So under that, she posted another post that shows some celebrities that took their life. Robin Williams, Friends, he was always happy. Everyone adored him. Kate Spade's dad. I just talked to her an hour before and she was planning a trip and she was just like her brand. Happy, cheerful, full of color. Anthony Bourdain's best friend. He loved his life and had the extraordinary ability to just connect with people. So, seriously? So she posts on his page, or this page, celebrities that took their own life and pretty much trying to make the connection that this is what Jalen did. I'm sorry, but this is just distasteful. This whole family needs to burn. What, I mean, look at this. And even 2019, people posted underneath that, what does this crap have to do with James? STFU about checking on the ones that just seem the strong. Like people are even, he's a effing piece of, even underneath this in 2019, the family was getting scrutiny. So it seems like to me, this family is just nuts. The whole family is wacko. Maybe everybody needs to go to jail. So we got the background, right, of the brother. Like I said, stay with me because I found some stuff. We got the background on the brother. The brother got convicted to 50 years for what he did, all right? Now, let's get into Rebecca attending the funeral. They talk about how she attended the funeral, but they don't talk about who the funeral was for. Who was the person that passed away? That's the person they don't talk about, right? So the person who actually passed away, let's see if I can pull this up. Where is it? You see, I got all these tabs open because I've been doing a lot of research on Rebecca and Jake. I've been doing a lot. So that's once again for the murder. The M word, whatever you want to say. Here's another article on the mom on James, who James was convicted of, you know. And basically, I think this one talks about, this is the mom again. I know my son is innocent and I will continue to fight for him. So to this day, the mom is fighting that her son's innocent, to this day. And she's also the one fighting for Rebecca, saying Rebecca's innocent right now. So keep that in mind, right? Do I have it up on another? Let's see here. I know I have it up somewhere for y'all. I got so much stuff up here. Where is it at? This one isn't it. I believe. Wait. I did find it. Okay. All right. I did find it. Okay. So the funeral that she attended. Remember, I was digging on the rabbit hole, right? I was curious. So what I did was, we all have been searching in Google Rebecca Haro this whole time. But I was like, wait. Rebecca is, her last name is actually the same as her mom's last name. Rebecca was married, right? So Haro was Jake's last name. Let me search Rebecca. Oh, now I pronounce this crap. Oh, what is this? What we got going on here? Hold on real quick, people. All right. Sorry, my sound effects went off. So we all been searching Rebecca Haro, right? All of us. But none of us pretty much searched her maiden name. So I was like, let me search the maiden name. We'll see what. And this is when I found more stuff. So let's go here. So that's the mom. Mary, let me scoot this over so y'all can see it. Y'all should be able to see it now, right? So that's the mom. On July 27th, rest in peace, little brother. I hate what happened and love you so much. This hurts so bad. Rest in peace, Charlie Bushin. So Charlie is the person that passed away right before Emmanuel was reported missing. Charlie is the one where Rebecca was seen at the funeral, and people are asking, where's Emmanuel? Emmanuel was not at the funeral, Rebecca, or Jake. Now, Jake could have been at home with Emmanuel. That's possible, right? But what if at that time Emmanuel was already gone, out the picture of during this funeral? What if that, think about that. This happened around the same time, and people are saying there's no real clear footage, so I can't say for fact, but people are saying that she already had a black eye at the funeral. Now, Mary, remember the mom, my grandson, my baby, you left such a void in my life. My heart is broken, so much pain going on, crazy. I just can't believe, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe nothing that comes out this mama's mouth. I don't know. But anyway, people were speculating that she could have been talking about, since she said grandson, could have been talking about Emmanuel. She was actually talking about Charlie, her other grandson, which is Rebecca's nephew. That's who she was talking about. So I got curious on who Charlie is. Who is Rebecca's nephew? I was curious. What did he pass away from? Supposedly, check this out. Supposedly he OD too. So remember, Jake's brother, Hector. I told y'all about Hector. Hector also passed away in the same house. And supposedly Hector died from an overdose. They did no autopsy. They did none of that. But supposedly he died from an overdose in the exact same house. The police supposedly found evidence of blood in the house, in the carpet. They dug up the carpet, and it's underneath the carpet in the wooding. They took the wooding. That's how it works. Blood seeps through to the padding, to the wood. They take all of that. So you people who out here committing crimes think you're going to clean up the blood. It doesn't work that way. You got to replace everything. They supposedly didn't do that. They never said whose the blood was. What if the blood is Hector? It might not be Emmanuel. Do they even have Emmanuel's DNA? Has anybody thought about that? Has Emmanuel even been to a doctor's appointment? Was he even born in a hospital? Or was he born in a tub at home? Or in the shed, in the forest, in the trees? Where was Emmanuel even born? Because nobody can even bring that up. When was the last time any of the grandmothers even seen Emmanuel? Supposedly, Jake's mom has never seen Emmanuel. Supposedly, some people are questioning if Emmanuel even existed, which I don't blame them. Now, I would say if Emmanuel never existed, where did the pictures come from? Where did the pictures come from? Whose baby is that then? Was it AI? We can't trust nothing with our own eyes no more. I could be AI. But we can't be trust anything. But some people are questioning, did baby Emmanuel even exist in the first place? Because nobody has seen him. Is there even, if one of y'all can find me a picture right now of Emmanuel with somebody holding Emmanuel, the grandma, an auntie, something. Who, all of you guys out here that's watching this that has kids right now, I guarantee you about 9 out of 10 of you people that have kids have a picture when they were born, a newborn, a baby, any time where somebody else is holding them, whether it's your mom, your father, so the grandmother, the grandfather, sister, uncle, even a best friend. Some people, even the nanny or the maid, is holding them and there's a picture. We have not seen one picture on the internet of Emmanuel being held by any family member. Not one. So some people are questioning, how long has his kid been missing? When did this happen? Or if the kid even existed in the first place, which I don't blame them. And I'm going to get to a deeper story that they're not covering, that I also found that Rebecca did 15 years ago on a false report on a baby. We're going to get to that. And like I said, the rabbit hole goes deep with this family. So let's rewind back to Charlie. Charlie is Rebecca's nephew. Charlie is the one who supposedly OD'd from fentanyl at the funeral that Rebecca went to. So we ask ourselves, who's Charlie? Charlie, I just said OD. Now, let's check this out. I dug up police reports of arrest. Yeah, I did it. So Charlie was arrested April 21st, 2023, right? So I was like, I see arrest here, then I see another arrest April 20th, 2023. These are all different times. So I'm like, did he get arrested in the same, almost within 24 hours? He got on bond and got arrested again? Hey, it's possible. It is possible. I've seen some people get out and get right arrested, right? So, watch this. Charlie OD supposedly from fentanyl. And let's not forget, Jake's brother supposedly OD too, right? So, where is it at? Here. 2012, is this it? Let me see if I can find it. 2012, officers responded to the block of 4200 600 block of Wisconsin, Palm Desert, arrested Charlie Bushison. Still don't know how to pronounce that name. 19. He was 19 years old at the time. So the age, I believe, adds up, of Palm Desert for burglary. So he was burglarizing somebody's house. If he did OD, a lot of people who are hooked on drugs, they get arrested. A lot of times their MO is burglary or theft because they're trying to find something to steal to make money, right? To get more drugs. And that's just plain and simple. Let's go here. Watch this. Charlie Busham, City State, Cathedral City, California. 32 years old, 5'10", 195, right? So this is Charlie's background of how many times this guy has been arrested. I want y'all to check this out for a minute. Hope y'all sitting down. Let's give this a break, right? Let's look at this. Look at this. Look. All of this is arrest records. This man's history and criminal activity went deep. It went deep. Rebecca's nephew, the one she attended the funeral for, Charlie, right here, his criminal history went deep. The whole family is a bunch of scumbags, it sounds like. Now, don't get me wrong. For the people that don't know me, y'all know I did my time. I got locked up myself, right? I did some things. So I can't judge another person. I really can't. But one thing I can do is say, when I got locked up, I learned my lesson, and that's why I'm on here speaking to y'all. This man did not learn his lesson. He did not learn his lesson. All right, let's go over some of these things. Right before he passed away from a fentanyl overdose, supposedly is what Rebecca was at the funeral for. So you guys that are new to the chat real quick, we are talking about Rebecca's family right now. Rebecca's family, I did some digging. And when I did this digging, I found a bunch of stuff on Rebecca. Mr. Piper said, let's go. We getting live streams now? Yes, we are, because I found some stuff and y'all need to hear it right now before I go outside and I do whatever I got to do. Y'all need to hear this. So, and thanks for watching. Rebecca's nephew that she went to the funeral for, that passed away, that they're not talking about, of an overdose from fentanyl. Who knows? Because Jack's brother also passed away from an overdose too. I just find it funny. He had a large criminal background. So let's look at this background real quick of the arrest. Riverside, The date was September 9th, 2008. 2023, possession of controlled substance, possession of narcotic controlled substance, petty theft, driving without a license, suspended for drunk driving. So the man was already had a suspended license for drunk driving. Possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of ammunition, punishment for battery, conviction with 7 years of previous conviction. All of this just from one arrest. Just from one arrest so far. One arrest. I don't know if this man should have been out in the streets, to be honest with you. Why is it their family is getting, the only one in their family so far that has been locked up and thrown away, it sounds like, is James. He's the only one. But everybody else seems like they're just getting out left and right. What lawyer do they have? Who's these people? Right? Second arrest, July 28th, 2023. Now, wait. I just read the last arrest, right? Was in September. So he got arrested, 2 or 3 months before then in July. Possession of controlled substance, possession of narcotic control. Wait. We're not done. A year before that, in November 2022, another possession of controlled substance, possession of, we're not done. May 2022, possession of controlled substance. Wait. Let's keep going. March. A year before that, 2021, driving while under the combined influence of drugs and alcohol. February 2021, possession of control. How many possession of controlled substance let's answer this question. How many possession of controlled substance should you get before you just get locked up? How many should they give you? I know people has got one in doing years to this day. This man, I just read four different times. And let's not forget carrying ammunition. All right. August 8th, or I should say August 10th, 2020, inflict corporal injury on a spouse. So he's beating up on people. He's beating up on his girlfriend. Inflict corporal injury on spouse. Didn't Jake get in trouble for, beating his old ex up, beating his old kid up? We know Rebecca has the black eye. We know Rebecca's brother is in prison right now for 50 years. We just went over that for offing his girlfriend and trying to cover it up. Now Rebecca's nephew, the one that she went to the funeral for. You don't just go to anybody's funeral. It means you knew them. You were close. So Rebecca's nephew, who I guess she was close with because she went there by herself, Rebecca's nephew also has a charge for beating a spouse. Does just running a family? So is Rebecca used to this? Is this why she's walking around with a black eye like nothing happened? I'm starting to wonder if she was getting beat while she was a kid. 2018, we are not done with Rebecca's nephew, the one who passed away. We're not done with it's ridiculous. Look at this one. Possession of controlled substance, possession of narcotic controlled substance, possession controlled substance, paraphernalia. I don't even want to read all this. It looked like he was persuading a witness from reporting a crime, false information to a peace officer. So he's also got charges of lying to the police. Rebecca's brother tried to lie to the police when he offed the girlfriend. He said rap sheet longer than the Constitution. Wait. Oh, man. He said rap sheet longer than the Constitution. Oh, man. That's funny. That's funny. You get a... That was funny. All right. So he tried to cover up the crime he did, right? And then he has another charge for beating up on a spouse. Grand theft auto. Driving with license. How many drunk drivings does this man have? Carrying a concealed dirk or dagger. A concealed knife. He also failed to appear in court. Oh my God, man. This man, criminal history is insane. I'm only pretty much halfway. I don't even think we need to read this all because a lot of it looks like it's the same stuff. This guy's been doing the same thing over and over, except for right here. Remove, destroy, damage wireless communication device. Pretty much that means he took somebody's cell phone and probably threw it against the wall. So somebody, and look, it was the girlfriend. This is a different girlfriend, a new one. The same, how many times has this guy been in trouble for beating up on a girl? He beat her up, took her phone and smashed it. And then also prevents summon assistance of law enforcement. So basically preventing her from calling. He basically beat her up. He was like, yeah, don't call the police because if you do, and she was going to, and he took the phone and smashed it. That's pretty much what happened. And then false imprisonment, meaning you can't go anywhere. That's what false imprisonment really is. It's really keeping a person inside the house and they can't go anywhere. But this is crazy. This is really crazy. Petty theft, and it all started from petty theft. Look at the first chart. Look, petty. It pretty much started from petty theft. It says, let's see, we got La Chaparita. Both families have a lot of violent criminal records. How times did he get so many possessions, drug from it? Yeah, I know. In less than a year. That's what I'm talking about. So we already questioned Jake's history, right? We questioned why did the judge let him out? What he did to his daughter, what he did. And I guess the ex filed a restraining order on him and everything. So, and then he blamed the ex. Now, I'm not saying that we don't really know. I never really did any history into Jake's ex. I never did that. The reason why is because Jake's ex is not involved with the situation that's going on now. She's not in that picture. She's living in the house. So I didn't want to, I personally did not want, even if she did something wrong in the past, I didn't want to involve her into really this situation. So I didn't want to look in her history and see what's going on because I have a past. I did time. So I don't want people to judge my past into a certain situation that might be happening now, knowing I have nothing to deal with it. So I didn't want to do that. I just want to focus on the people who is in the house right now, the people who is related to them right now, who seems like they're covering up. So we know Jake, they let him out with all those charges. We know Jake's brother, Hector, died supposedly from an overdose, right? And I still think maybe that blood they found in the house could be Hector's. Because like I said earlier, if you're new to the chat, I said earlier, there's no evidence of Emmanuel being born anywhere. Hold on, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. Give me 20 seconds. I got to replace my battery. Give me 20 seconds. All right, y'all. Told y'all I needed was 20 seconds. That's all I needed. All I needed was 20 seconds. Told y'all. Now, there's no evidence of Emmanuel being born in a hospital. Nobody has came out with this evidence like this is where Emmanuel was born. I need to see a document showing that this is where he was born. There's no evidence of Emmanuel going to a doctor's office. There's no evidence of Emmanuel getting booster shots. There's no evidence of Emmanuel even being held by another family member in a picture. The grandma doesn't have a picture of holding him. The grandma, Rebecca's mom, who's been lying on people this whole time, doesn't have a picture. It's a very odd situation. And supposedly when they went into the house, all pictures, all baby items, all everything was removed. What if there was none of that in there to begin with? So how long do we even know that Emmanuel's been missing? How long do we even know this? Lisa Elliott, what happened to the lifelong criminals being locked up forever? He better get life, no parole. La Chapa, possession of ammunition is enough for at least a year in prison without parole. All right, so I grew up in California. I was born in California. For that right there, possession of ammunition is enough for at least a year in prison without previous felony charges here in Arkansas. So you're in Arkansas, right? See, I grew up in California. I don't live there no more. I live here in Florida. And you're right. Here in the South, they don't play. Because if I get caught, or if anybody that has a background or a felony gets caught with some ammunition, you going to jail. And here in Florida, you're doing 85% of your time. Ain't no getting out on no parole. Parole here is almost non-existent. I don't care if you got a felony charge for stealing somebody's bicycle. You're doing 85% of your time. But see, these people, everything's happening in California. California's a little different. They're lenient. So it looks like to me, you can go out here and do all the crime and all the ruckus you want. That's probably why we see it on the news all the time of these people going in the stores and shoplifting and all this other crime going on. Because look at this. Look at Charlie's background. Look at Charlie's background. Charlie, for you guys don't know, Charlie is Rebecca's nephew. The one that she went to the funeral for that supposedly passed away from fentanyl. When I dug deep and found out who he was, look at all this. Now, he probably did OD. And you know why? Because he's doing OD tendencies. He's doing drug tendencies. Possession of controlled substance. Possession of controlled substance. Every single charge had a possession of controlled substance, except for the very first few that says license suspended for reckless driving. That's where it all, and petty theft. And that's where it all started. He probably did OD. I'm not questioning if he OD'd or not. He probably did, just because of everything he did. And it's crazy, right? Now, we see that, right? We see what happened with him. And of course, I brought up at 19 years old, he got arrested for an armed robbery in Palm Desert, right? At 19. There's a lot, see, Mr. Piper, there's a lot that goes into it, especially in those rough areas. Jails are full of resources, then overall lack of justice and compartmentalization. You're right, Mr. Piper, you're right. Because when I remember. So for you guys don't know my story, I did some time, right? While I was doing time, I got sentenced to a prison boot camp. If at that time, I was in the state of Colorado where I got in trouble. And in the state of Colorado, they used to have a prison boot camp. It was for nonviolent offenders or first-time offenders that went to prison, which I was nonviolent, and then also it was my first time ever going to prison. So I qualified for a prison boot camp. Right when I went to boot camp, it was 6 months long thing. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. I graduated. It was 100 of us that went. Only 22 of us graduated this program. I graduated. Right when you graduate, you go to the judge again for reconsideration, which means the judge can reconsider your sentence. I had a 10-year prison sentence. The judge reconsidered my sentence to 4 years, knocked down to 4 years to a halfway house, right? Right before he reconsidered my sentence, right after I graduated boot camp, I had a 3-year-old son that unfortunately passed away in a car accident. So I had a 3-year-old son that passed away in a car accident right before my reconsideration. Due to my son passing away in a car accident, the court found out. They also saw I did good in prison, no write-ups. They also saw that I graduated boot camp. So that's why they reconsidered me, knocked my 10 years down to 4 and gave me 4 years halfway house. It's all coming out in my book pretty soon. My book's almost done. It's all coming out now. I had a mental breakdown pretty much because I wanted to go to the grave, go see him because I didn't get that final closure. I had a mental breakdown, pretty much, long story short, left, escaped the halfway house, and I was on the run for 15 years, living under different names. I even went to Canada, I went to Greenland, I went to a lot of different places, right? While I was doing that, I did not commit any more crimes. I actually went to college, I went and got a degree. I went and did a lot of things. What I did was I went and lived the life that I wanted my son to live. Even though I was on the run, I was trying to be a role model citizen. I started businesses, which I still have to this day with employees working for me. And I hire people that other people don't want to hire. I hire people that have backgrounds, or I hire people that were ex-drug addicts. I try and give people a second chance because I was given a second chance, right? Now, the reason why I tell you all this is, once again, I have a background, so I try not to judge people that have a background. But this family, right? This family, Charlie, all his charges that he had, all these charges, he's the one that should have been doing time. All of these charges. And he's the one, I'm not saying he's the one, but look at this. Every single one. Possession of controlled substance. Possession of controlled substance. Possession of controlled substance. When I was in there, I ended up turning myself in. I turned myself in right before COVID. Turned myself in right before COVID, all right? You know how packed, and I'm going back to Mr. Piper's, I don't know if it's Piper. I think it's Piper. You pronounce it Piper, right? He said the jails are full. When I turned myself in, he is right. Those jails were full to capacity. There were 2-man cells, right? One person sleeping on the bunk, top, another person sleeping on the bottom. But then you have that little room where your toilet and sink at. You had a person sleeping on the floor where the toilet and sink was at. I was the one sleeping on the floor next to the toilet and the sink when I turned myself in. That's how full the jails were. So that means if my cellie, the person I'm locked up with, got up and had to take a pee in the middle of the night, he's pretty much standing over me using the bathroom. That's how full the jails were. So you are right. You are right with that. And for you guys just entering the chat, yeah, we're basically getting into Rebecca's history and some things I found out that I chose to go live on because I didn't want to make a video. I figured you guys would find to see this now. This is some stuff I haven't seen anybody talk about, and why the main media is not bringing this up. These journalists, so-called from NBC and ABC, why isn't this being brought up? Right? Let's see what some of these people are saying. Let's go. That judge that let him out after hurting his daughter should be kicked off the bench. What a disgrace. Who is the judge? Anybody know who this judge was? Because judges, there's a public record. If somebody pulls up the court case, there's a public record of who the judge was. I wonder if this judge is still on the bench. I wonder who he was. I guess California laws are very different from everywhere else. Wasn't there another elderly lady living in that house? Yes, there was. Jake's mom was living in the house, supposedly. But, all right, I'm glad you brought that up. Jake's mom was supposedly living in the house, right? But there was a news report. I don't know if you guys can find this or not because there's so many reports out there. It's actually a video. Now, I remember which source this was, but they're asking Jake's mom, when's the last time you saw the baby? You know what Jake's mom said? Oh. And thank you for everybody who's doing a super chat. Thank you. But you know what Jake's mom said? Jake's mom said she never saw the baby. She never met the baby. How can you live in the same house as Rebecca and Jake and never see your grandson? Your grandson's supposed to be, what did they say, 7 months, 8 months old? Isn't that what they said? Please, if I'm wrong. Isn't that supposed to be how old he is? If you living in the same house and you never seen, this is why some people, and I'm not saying I'm questioning it, but some people are questioning if Emmanuel even existed in the first place. I'm telling you, look it up. Some people are questioning this. And we're going to get into why some people are questioning it. And also what Rebecca did in 2009, they'll make you even question it even more because Rebecca has a record and Rebecca was already on the news in 2009 for some false accusations of a kid. Hold on. Let me see what else somebody's saying in this chat. If you have a previous felony, even if it's a sponge, you get charged with another one. Now I think the law just changed to 100%. Yeah, so every state, the law is different. Some states, this is when it gets kind of political, really. The blue states, which are Democratic states, a lot of times those states are more lenient. You can expunge your record a little easier. The red states, which is like a state I'm in living in right now, Florida, which is a Republican state, a lot of times it's harder to get your record expunged. So it really just depends on where you live. Everywhere has a different criteria for that, right? They officially have been charged. So they got charged, Mona Lisa. So they did get charged. Just seen the court records on a different channel. Does anybody know if I know there's a live court stream that's supposed to go on, right? I would love to know who we are. All right, so yes, that was Jake's mom. So check this out. We got into Charlie and his criminal background. And once again, we got into Charlie with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Charlie has been arrested 20 times since 2014 to when he passed away, which was right before Emmanuel was reported missing. I think the week before. 20 times he's been arrested, and nothing little. And they're not including the first arrest that I saw, the first arrest when he was 19 years old, which was burglary. That in some states you can get almost a life sentence, especially if there's somebody inside of the house while you do it. That's a life sentence. So I don't understand first of all, this attorney that Jake has, he got to be good. I don't care what y'all say, but that attorney that Jake has to be great. This man is doing his job to get Jake off those prior charges. Whoever the attorney Charlie had, Rebecca's nephew, has to be good. Now, you know whose attorney wasn't good? Rebecca's brother, James, the one that's doing 50 years for offing his girlfriend. That attorney didn't do a good job. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Hold on. So I told you this is how I got into all this. For all you guys that are new watching, this is how I got into all this, right? I'm digging, I'm doing my research like I usually do. I'm using Google, I'm using TikTok, I'm using Instagram, I'm using all these sources. And what I was doing, and probably what a lot of other people were doing, is they're using the name Rebecca Haro. They're Googling, searching all that, right? And then when I came across the mom, Mary, and then the brother, James, and I'm like, hold on. Her name was not Haro all her life because she got married. That's right. Remember, Rebecca's 41 and also older than Jake, so she can have a longer history. So it's like, let me use Rebecca's maiden name. Whatever, I still can't pronounce that name, Bouchachin. So I was like, let me search Rebecca Bouchachin. Let's see what pops up under that. That was when I came out with Charlie, the nephew that passed away from a fentanyl overdose, who had the long criminal record that we just went down. That's when I came up with Charlie. And that's when I also came up with this. You guys are really going to trip. So check this out. This article was posted November 17th, 2023. The pregnant mummy blogger whose terminally ill baby was exposed as a lie. Wait. The pregnant mommy blogger whose terminally ill baby was exposed as a lie. Let's see here. I got an update on my chat. They've been charged, guys. So Jeremiah, the judge did charge them? The judge charged them? I know there's a live court thing going on. So which means if they were charged, there is enough circumstantial evidence to charge them if they were charged. And the circumstantial evidence could be the DNA they might have found in the house. We're probably not going to know the DNA or the blood in the house right away, like whose DNA that belongs to, whose blood, if it belonged to Emmanuel or actually belonged to, some people are thinking it belonged to Hector, Jake's brother that passed away in the house. So we're not going to know that. They're probably not going to tell us. They probably want to keep that, in secret for a little bit because they don't want they never want to give an upper hand to the other. So, for example, the prosecution sometimes does not want to expose certain things so the defense can be prepared and have a defense, a strategy. Yes, so many charges. Thank you, Jeremiah. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to look that up. Thanks. So, Rebecca, right? When I searched her name, the maiden name, the pregnant mommy blogger whose terminally ill baby was exposed as the lie. Now check this out, y'all. Why isn't the news talking about this? Why? What are y'all scared of? In 2009, now let's not forget, Rebecca's older than Jake. Rebecca is, I believe, 41 years old. So this would have put her in her 20s. 2009. In 2009, when mommy bloggers were having their moment, a community of online readers flocked to the heartbreaking story of baby April Rose. There was a story of baby April Rose. Now, I don't remember any mummy bloggers because I wasn't a mummy, obviously. So, back in 2009, that's when I was on a run and I was in Canada, be honest with you. So I wasn't probably looking and paying attention. April's mother, known only as B, was young, single, and pregnant with a terminally ill baby. It was a baby she chosen to carry to term rather than terminate due to her deep Christian faith. So this woman named B was on a mummy blogger site because it was big in 2009, right? Claimed to have a terminally ill baby that she wasn't going to abort due to her Christian faith. So April Rose, that's the name of the baby. Keep following. April Rose had, I believe it's pronounced trisomy 13 syndrome. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know because I don't know. I'm not the best when it comes to reading. So April Rose had trisomy 13 syndrome. B, that was the name she was going by. B said via her blog, which is a chromosome defect that can cause severe intellectual disability and death. Baby April would likely die shortly after her death. It was breaking news. It was Rebecca's mom that said she's never seen the baby because she's been estranged from Rebecca for years until March of this year. Rebecca's mom. So yeah, it was Rebecca's mom that said, yeah, and I don't know if Jake's mom has any issues herself, because if you go to some news, film, it looks like she's not all the way there. So I'm not sure about Jake's mom, but I do know there was one saying she's never seen the baby. There was one saying she supports her son. It's your son. You're probably always going to support your kid, right? Now, Rebecca's mom, we went over that earlier. Rebecca's mom is covering up for everybody. Rebecca's mom was covering up for her son still, James, the one that's in prison 50 years. She's got a Facebook page saying justice. Let's go back for the new people that didn't see this. Justice for James Bushinson. That is the page that Rebecca's mom, Mary, has made for her son James that offed his girlfriend and tried to cover it up. She's saying that James's girlfriend, Jalen, committed suicide, and she's sticking with that to this day. Sticking with it. So I ain't gonna lie. At least she's ride or dying, right? Hey, at least she's riding for her people. I give her that much. But still, you're a piece of EL if you ask me. But especially when it comes to kids. Now let's get back into this story of April Rose. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, April Rose had trisomy 13 syndrome. B said via her blog, right? Now check this out. B, remember this lady is going on a blog report named B. B named her unborn baby Rose based on the month she was due. So supposedly this baby was due in April. Her blog posts were poignant and heartfelt, describing her inner turmoil and added trauma caused by her family's lack of support and church, who disowned her when she felt pregnant. She shared the impact of her turbulent relationship with April's father and her determination to maintain her Christianity despite it all. She shared doctor's appointments, pictures of her ultrasound. So wait, let's get this right. She shared doctor's appointments, pictures of the ultrasound, providing regular updates on baby April's measurements, movements, and heart rate. This woman went this far to show all this. And let's not forget, this is from 2009. We're talking about this woman named B that comes up under Rebecca when you search Rebecca with her maiden name. Hold on. So, within months, almost 1 million readers had flocked to the site. They came from all walks of life. Some were parents of sick and dying children. Others other Christians, others were simply drawn to the real-life tragedy. Many of her followers promised to pray for her and her baby, but prayers can only do so much, and her baby, Long B, started asking for more posting. A P.O. box to which her readers could send gifts or money. So that was pretty much like the GoFundMe. I don't think GoFundMe was out in 2009. Correct me if I'm wrong. Remember, it's 2009. So I don't think there was a GoFundMe at that time. So she had a P.O. box. Red flag 1, P.O. box. Now, I can understand maybe why. Maybe you don't want to give out your real address, right? You got creeps and stuff. But she had a P.O. box where they can send gifts or money. As baby April's due date approached, things became weird, drawing suspicion from some readers. She chopped and changed due dates, hospital visits before announcing she planned to deliver her terminally ill baby at home. All right, wait. Let's connect all this here. If you remember earlier, I said on this live, there was no reports of baby Emmanuel being born in a hospital. There's no reports of him going to a doctor. Where was he born? Was he born in the house? Was he born in the shed? Where was this person born? Has Rebecca ever had any kids before Emmanuel? She's 41 years old. Has she ever had any kids before then? Now she just wants to have a kid. She never had any kids before then. Before she got with Jake, I should say. Because there's a 2-year-old in the house, suppose, or was, that got taken away. Right? Hold on. Around 2 weeks after the due date, remember, the name is on internet, is B, on the blog site, declared she was in labor, providing hourly updates and the baby's birth and subsequent emergency trip to the hospital. So supposedly, she's like, oh, it's an update. I'm giving birth and I'm going to the hospital. How many of y'all in my chat right now, that's a woman a woman that was pregnant or is pregnant? How many of y'all that was pregnant or is pregnant? And not only that, about to give birth any minute. If you're about to give birth, do you have enough time to go on your computer and go to your blog site and update it and say, oh, I'm about to give birth. I'm going now. Is that what y'all thinking about? Please let me know if that's what y'all thinking about, because I don't want to put myself in the body of a woman and be like, oh, yeah, I might think. But for you people, let me know, all right? Let's see here. If you're a first-time offender here, sometimes a judge will order everything expunged, finish probation. Okay. If they can railroad you into a plea bargain, that part. So, all right, I talked about this in some of my other videos. All right? For any of you guys that's ever been in trouble or are in trouble now, hopefully you're not planning on getting in trouble. A lot of times what they'll do is, I'll tell you real quick before we get back into this, real quick about my very first charge, what started the whole spree. It was false information to a pawn shop. That was my very first charge. I had a roommate. The roommate basically dipped out the house one night. I think it was the day before rent was due. He dipped out the house. I went, knocked on the door. Hey, rent's due today. Nothing was in there but a TV. Nothing but a TV. At this time, we really didn't have cell phones. We had pagers and two-way pagers. I'm paging this guy. Hey, where are you at? Rent's due, bro. I'm trying to pay my rent on time. This is actually my very first apartment, too. So I'm trying to pay my rent on time. He finally hits me back from a payphone because, you had pagers. So you had to wait to get a payphone. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, I had to dip out, family emergency, whatever, but I left the TV in my room. You can use that TV, go pawn it, and get some money that you need. I was like, okay, bet. Hung up the phone, took the TV, went to the pawn shop, and pawned it. 7-8 months later down the road, I get pulled over. I got a warrant for false information to a pawn shop, right? Another warrant for burglary. Another warrant for theft. And then another warrant for another felony charge, which I forgot. They put 4 felonies on me for pawning this TV, right? 4 felonies. I ended up pleading false information to a pawn shop, which is my first felony. I should have never did that. I learned later on down the road that I shouldn't have did that. Because technically I never even did false information to a pawn shop. Because on the pawn slip, I put this was my roommate's TV that I am pawning. I don't even own the price. He gave it to me. So I didn't even put anything false. Everything was truthful. But I'm young. I think I'm 22 or 23 at the time. So I didn't know any better. So they stacked all these felony charges on me. My public defender came to me saying, hey, we could drop the other 3. We'll drop the other 3 if you plead to this one. Come to find out, the TV was stolen out of somebody's house. This house is burglarized or something like that. I don't know the full, because I don't know, but I just know the house is burglarized at somebody's house. So since I'm the one who pawned the TV, I got charged of burglary and everything, even though I wasn't there, fingerprints, all kind of stuff. So they stacked all these charges on me. And if I would have known better, who knows? My life could have been totally different, right? So you are right with that. They will stack the system up on you, right? So let's get back to this mommy blogger thing. The mommy blogger thing, right? This is from 2009. Around 2 weeks after the due date, B declared she was in labor, providing hourly updates. So, but it was the photo of baby April that sent the wheels in motion for B's undoing. She sent a photo, I guess, and everybody who was following her on this blog, red flags. So let's think about this. When Rebecca reported Emmanuel missing, and she's on the news, right, with that fake crying, oh, my baby, or the fake crying, think if Rebecca never went on the news and said anything live to us, we probably would not be reporting on this. We would probably not be talking about this. It would probably be a news article gone with the wind, because let's be real with ourselves. Kids go missing every 5-10 minutes. So it probably would have been another statistic. But Rebecca had to go on the news, fake cry, put on a show for us. And what happened? We saw the red flags. So 2009, she puts a picture of baby April, 2009, that's on a blog site. Online sleuths eventually identified B as Rebecca Bushin. Look, let's highlight this. Can we highlight it on my Mac? Online sleuths eventually identified B as Rebecca Bushin. How do you pronounce her name? Rebecca piece of crap, Rebecca POS, whatever you want to say. The story was picked up by multiple news sites, prompting Bushin to take down her blog and social networking sites. Now, Resin Mama, are you sure it's not the same Rebecca? Because when I looked at this, and I thought the same thing, it could be the same Rebecca, right? It's not the same Rebecca. I looked at this, and when I saw another article, the ages matched up. And I believe the age around for this time, I can't remember exactly, but it was like 24 to 26. I don't remember exactly. For 2009, which would have been like, yeah, so it would make her about 41 right now. And when I did a little background search on Rebecca, right? Now, we all know they live in California, but through Facebook, they do have family members in other states. Like, I think it was Missouri, Illinois, and Texas. Now, for example, James, her brother, when Rebecca's brother James, when he offed his girlfriend, he didn't get caught right away. He actually went on a run to Texas. And then I guess later on caught him in Palm Springs or Palm Desert. He went back. I don't know why you would go back. I still, to this day, I wonder why when people go on a run, they end up going back to where the crime happened. This boggles me of why people do that. But let's see here. Jake and Rebecca fell off Crazy Train family. Yeah, definitely. April Rose. Isn't the baby that Jake almost named Promise Rose? Was Caroline Rose? The name is I think it is Promise Rose, right? Somebody look. Is it Promise Rose, the baby's name? You're right. It is Promise Rose. I believe so. I got to look that up. Jake and Rebecca fell out crazy. Yep. They really jammed you up all over all over a TV. I took advantage of through the system, and that was the derailment of my life from there. All over a TV. And which made it worse was I was planning on joining the Air Force. And they lied to me saying, oh, if you plead guilty to this, it's just false information to a pawn shop. That's all it is. You'll still go to the military. Oh, bet. Nope. When I went through that recruiter, he said, oh, no, I'm sorry. You can't go. Sorry. That crushed my world. Then he was like, well, I don't know, maybe the Army will take you. Now I went to the Army. And the guy looked up my charge. He was like, yeah, I mean, it's only false marriage pawn shop, but it's still a felony. We can't take you at this minute. You got to wait a few years. I got bamboozled. So I definitely know that the system will stack things on you. And if you're new to the system, just to get you to plead for something. It sucks. But I'm a prime example. Go get the CPS records from the past 24 months, but trigger warning, the sickening. Jake removed the 2-year-old. Oh, no. CPS did not. Wait. Thank you, Heather Rose, for saying I have done good research. Thank you. Oh, and I'm going to bring, how I just brought this up, it also was on ABC. I'm going to show you this too. You go get the CPS records from the pad. Jake removed the toenails as punishment from the children. The story sounds similar to hers and Jake's. Maybe it's stolen identity, all made up. Rebecca's the one doing it all. So I'm not saying that for a fact this was Rebecca. It is just very odd. Now, wait. Before I read more of these chats, let's quickly go over this real quick for you guys. It just popped up just now. I found an article from 2009 of, there's a popular site, the pregnant mommy blogger. It's called Mummy Blogger, right? Where I guess if you were pregnant, you would blog on these sites and mommies would follow other mommies. Okay? This lady named B, 2009, was on there and she was around the age, I can't remember the age, but 24 to 26. Because Rebecca now is 41. So she was around that age, supposedly, on the site, claiming that she was pregnant with a baby named April Rose. April Rose was supposed to be a terminally ill baby. And then the lady on the site, the blogger, who was claiming her name as B, was saying, I will not terminate this baby because I'm strong in my Christian faith and we don't believe in that. So I'm keeping the baby. She posted a photo online and then the other bloggers are like, hey, wait 1 minute, red flag. So once they identified her as Rebecca Bushishin, the story was picked up by multiple news sites, prompting Rebecca to take down her blog and social network sites. She told media outlets after that. Here's the part right here. Look at this. Wait. Look at this right here. Look at this connection. She told media outlets she became addicted to the emotional support she received, adding she didn't know how to stop. Is this Rebecca? Is this the same Rebecca? Because I can't find another Rebecca that just could belong to. I just can't. I looked. If one of y'all want to look and find, hey, but I have not found another Rebecca out there. And this last name is not a common last name. I've never met anybody with this last name. So it's not like it's Jackson and William or Johnson. I'm about to give birth to taquitos. Oh, man. Is it her? Days later, Rebecca republished her blog to share a lengthy apology with her readers, claiming she had lost several babies while pregnant in the past, and began writing in the post. Worse still, I lied to a community of people whose only intention was to support me through his time. That is wrong. For that, I am sorrier than you could know. I have suffered this type of loss more than once. So supposedly she suffered this loss a lot. And while the circumstances at times vary, the pain is very constant, she wrote. She also confirmed her faith was genuine. I am Christian, and while I wrote many a post under this honest context, the God I shared, blah, 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 blah. Many felt they were scammed over this. This is ABC News, June 12, 2009. Baby blog hoaxer explains her life. A blogger who outraged her readers by soliciting funds an allegedly troubled pregnancy that turned out to be fictitious has emerged again with a lengthy apology. I lied and I'm not trying to hide that, nor am I trying to minimize it, she claimed in a blog. So this girl keeps erasing her blog, it sounds like, coming up with another blog, and then saying she's sorry. If we go back to the article I just pulled up, she was addicted to the attention that she admitted. Is this the same Rebecca? Is this the same Rebecca that was supposed to be fake crying on the news, trying to get attention? Saying somebody tapped her on the shoulder and said, hola, trying to get attention. Is this the same Rebecca? I would like to know, because I couldn't find a picture on, if this is a different Rebecca, I couldn't find a picture. I couldn't. It was like this article came and the lady vanished. Just Rebecca vanished. At that time, she claimed to be a single mother. The baby, a girl named April, because of the month she was due, was to be born with a rare disorder called holoprosencephalia. I can't even pronounce that. I've never even heard of that one. That would prevent her brain from properly developing. It's just too many similes to this Rebecca with the same last name to this Rebecca. It's just a few months, hundreds of thousands of readers driven to the site. They drove to the site from other anti-abortion religious sites, praised the mother for her strength. So they praised her for her strength. At first, B, or April's mom, or we all know is now Rebecca, the monikers the anonymous blogger used asked only for her readers and prayers, and they came in droves, not just from readers, caught up in, oh my God. But soon April's mom asked for more than just prayers. That's when she posted the P.O. box and started getting gifts. She started getting presents. She started getting all kind of stuff. And it wasn't a photo of a baby at all, said Elizabeth Russell, a mother or maker of lifelike reborn dolls. Rebecca posted a doll. She sent a picture of a lifelike doll and claimed it was her kid. A doll. A doll. And claimed it was her kid. Oh, man. KW says, I think it's her. Yes. Do your own research on this, please. You guys are the co-hosts today. Do your own research on this, because I tried and I could not find if there was a different Rebecca out there than this one. I'm sorry. It's just too many similarities. This Rebecca, we all can agree. The Rebecca we see on the news looks like she was begging for attention. We cannot agree. I mean, everybody can agree on that, right? We can agree. This Rebecca on here, where is that? Because I pulled up so much stuff. Where'd it go? I highlighted it. What was her exact words? She was addicted to the emotional support she received. She was addicted to the emotional report she received, adding she didn't know how to stop. If a person is addicted to anything, drugs, alcohol, sex, it is hard for you to stop. So if she is addicted to this so-called emotional support, and this is the same Rebecca, then we can see why she ain't stopping. We can see why they gave her that interview, in the jail a couple days ago. Remember, I don't know if y'all know, they gave her an interview in the jail a couple days ago. And she is saying they need to let her out so she can go find Emmanuel. That she is innocent, that Jake is the best dad ever. Like we don't know what happened to the last daughter. Let's see here. Let's see here. I know, right? It would be if the baby would have. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Emmanuel, doesn't exist. But what if Emmanuel? I mean, let's think about this for a minute. We got AI. We all turn on Facebook, TikTok every day, and we see a video that's AI created, and we're like, damn, I thought that was real, or this got to be AI. Like I said, y'all don't know. I could be AI right now. Y'all really don't know. I told you guys earlier, I have a couple businesses, right? My phone, my cell phone. I have a second number on my cell phone. If you call one of my business's lines right now, it will pick up as an operator. Hello, you reach so-and-so, so-and-so. It's an AI voice, and you don't even know it's an AI voice, and you don't even know you're talking to an AI voice. If you text the business line, it's AI responding to you. That's because I made the AI lifelike, human-like, so it's not robotic. In the voice, you even hear people typing in the background. You hear little conversations. Now, I am not saying that it was AI and the manual was not there. I'm not saying that. But I am saying I can see why some people are out here talking about manual probably never. I can see that why. I have a very open vision. I don't lean to one side. I don't lean to this politics. Religion. I don't do all that. What I like to do is I stay in the middle. I listen to this side's argument, and then I listen to this side's argument. I take the facts from this person. I try and take the facts from this person. And I try and understand where each person is coming from before I make a judgment. So I can see both point of views. And that is how I think. That's what I do. Let's see here. Because the mom got the photos off Rebecca's Facebook, that now the mom got the photos of the baby. So you're saying the mom, only reason why Mary, that's Rebecca's mom. You're saying the only reason why Mary, I think that's what you're talking about, has photos of the babies because she got off Rebecca's Facebook. Is that what you're saying? I heard that the last name being used by some other creators last night. It's her maiden name for sure. Yes. Haro was not her real name. Like I said, we were all researching Haro. I've been doing it for 3 days, is researching Rebecca Haro. And I was like, wait, let me put Rebecca's Bushin or whatever that damn last name, with her brother's last name and her mom's last name. And then the cousin that we found out died from fentanyl overdose that had a record longer than P. Diddy's record, you know. Let's see what happens when all this popped up. That's when this other article popped up of how she faked another baby and got gifts. Oh, wait. I was going to say this for later. Supposedly, there's a GoFundMe out there that Rebecca and Jake did that might be a scam. And not just one, we're talking about 4 or 5 GoFundMes that Jake and Rebecca did that might be a scam. Not only that, this is going to be in my later video. There's also a workman's comp scam that Jake and Rebecca were doing from Jake's job, because I have his job records. And supposedly he was doing a workman comp scam with the jobs he was with. I'm going to do that later for you guys, but we're going to save that, all right? So make sure you like, subscribe, stay tuned, because I'm going to bring that up. I told y'all, I've been doing research. It's not hard with internet nowadays. And ChatGPT is the deep research function. All you got to do is say, research this person, research that. I'm telling you. You can't do nothing nowadays. Let's see here. Well, I'm reading some of these chats right now. Let's see here. And the fact that the house that Hector Hero died in, the house they lived in their manual apartments, the stepfathers. When I was doing some research, supposedly that house is in a trust, the family's trust. So basically, it's in the trust. So when you buy property and usually you put it in a trust, you put it in a trust because that trust is safekeeping. Meaning that, let's say you pass away, your kid or grandkid can't just go sell the house. It's in a trust. Property is more protected in a trust. I'm trying to buy property right now in a different state, and when I buy it, I'm going to put it in a trust for my children, so they just can't go sell it. They can rent it out, Airbnb, whatever they want to, but they just can't sell it because it's a land or a roof over their head they can have for the rest of their life. Their kids, hopefully their kids, and they just go on forever. So supposedly the land was in a trust, was what I read. And that was why Hector was there when he passed away, because it was the family's home. That is supposedly why Jake's mom was living there. It's the family's home. I don't know who started the trust. They're not saying that. I think the movie on Netflix is like sensational. That's what KW said. Deborah McComb, I have been wondering if there is a birth certificate for Emmanuel. Yeah, I have been too. I was sitting back here in my chair one day while I'm researching, and I'm looking at these pictures of Emmanuel, and I start thinking like, man, you know, I told y'all I had a child that I lost in a car accident, right? I told you guys earlier, I had a child lost in a car accident when he was 3. And I started thinking earlier, you know, if one of my kids went missing and things like that, you know, I have all these pictures of them. I have video of them on my cell phone, you know. Speaking of video on a cell phone, you know what? Have we seen a video? One of y'all tell me right now, it's 2025. Have we seen a video on a cell phone of Emmanuel being born? The first time they're holding the baby? Have we seen that? Is there one? I'll wait. I just thought about that. KW, something like that. She says she would be out looking for the baby when she was not looking before, held up in her house. Yeah, you know why they said they weren't looking before? You know why? Did you ever see before they got arrested, the lawyer, which I thought was dumb. Now, I'm not saying the lawyer is dumb. Actually, I think his lawyer is pretty good, because look what his lawyer got him off on the first charge. But the lawyer went on and, if you're defending me, I don't want you doing no news articles. You know why? I don't care about the court of public opinion. If I am going through something, I will not care about the court of public opinion. I care about what that judge is going to say. I care about what that courtroom is going to say, not the people out in the streets. So I don't want my lawyer out here doing interviews in the middle of anything that's going on. No, be in the office, focus on how to beat this case. But he said in the interview, the reason why they weren't out looking is because the cops confiscated the vehicle. They only had one vehicle, so they couldn't go out and look. I'm sorry, if my kid's out there missing and I ain't got a car, I am walking. We have all in our life walked to do worse things, walked from worse things, or walked to do something. Far walks. We all have. I'm walking back to the Big 5. I don't care. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm out there. It's been confirmed by Eli Babe Emmanuel B-Day is 2020. So the confirmation so his birthday is December 21st. Did he actually show a birth certificate though? Was there a birth certificate shown? Yeah, I'm not saying that he's telling a fib or a lie. I mean, we're all getting our information from these sources online, right? All of us are. But I just want to know if you actually seen a birth certificate. Yes, that's the name. I never seen it. This keeps getting crazier and crazier. It does. Yep, Hector Haro was Jake's brother. Hector's the one that passed away in the house, supposedly from an overdose, they say. What if there's no baby? What if there's no baby? Is there a birth certificate? I thought from the start she is older, not all that common to have a baby at her age. Is it all a hoax? I mean, if this is the same Rebecca, let's go back to what I just said. What's highlighted on my screen? I have this highlighted for a reason. Addicted to emotional support she received, adding she didn't know how to stop. It is possible, because there's no proof that this wasn't the same Rebecca that did this hoax in 2009. Hold on real quick, guys. Told you I run a company here, so I just want to have somebody over here. But let's get some more of what these chats are saying. The name Emmanuel means God is with us. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know that. So the name Emmanuel means God is with us. If it is a scam, the murder charges would be. You know what? What if it was a scam? What? All right. Let's just use our imaginations, right? Let's use our imaginations. Y'all remember that girl? It was a girl. It was a few months ago. I don't remember her name. It was a girl, and she falsely reported her own kidnapping or something. Remember that? She said that she was driving down the highway, and then there was a baby, and then the baby ran across, and she got out to see this baby. Supposedly this baby was in a diaper, and then when she got out, she got kidnapped. Remember this? And People are like, hold on, what? It didn't make sense. And then people are like, we didn't see no baby on the side of the road. And I guess there was a camera out there or something. They didn't see no baby. You remember that? Remember the hoax? Remember she got charged for that? And remember the media frenzy over that? Do you remember that? So I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. But what I am saying, it is possible. Now, what if it is a hoax? Hold on real quick. Yeah, I gotta get off here soon, but this is very possible. It really is. Now, if it's a hoax, what do the charges go to after that? If it is a hoax, it's all fake. What's the charges then? Let's think about that. Are there any babies missing in California between 4 months and a year old since March 2025 that possibly resembles Emmanuel? They only show one half of his face in every picture. I've been saying that. There's never you know what? I am a dad. I can show you plenty of pictures of my kid while I have the camera like this at his face or her face, and I'm taking pictures and videos. But these two seem to not have none. None whatsoever. Just the sad looking photos of baby Emmanuel are the only ones I've seen, and the actual age of him is being questioned. KW says that I can find, but there are CPS reports on Emmanuel. Deborah, the phone numbers listed on the missing kid flyer were disconnected. Oh, so whose phone numbers were those? Are those Jake's and Rebecca's phone numbers? Whose phone numbers were? I know there was a GoFundMe. Somebody did start a GoFundMe, which I'm going to talk about later on. I guess an alias or something. Somebody started a GoFundMe for Jake and Rebecca or something. I've got to look more into it. Can't find a birth. I have zero video. Yeah, we all can't find a birth certificate, and we all have zero footage of this kid. Also, who would make a flyer that says missing kid? You're right. I do remember when that happened. Carly Russell, that was her name. Carly Russell. Yes, Carly Russell was the woman who falsely reported her kidnapping. And this happened, what was it, last year? And remember, the media was in an uproar. Remember, there was bloggers, vloggers, YouTubers. What can happen to Carly? What happened? I can't believe there's a 2-3-year-old kid on the side of the highway in a diaper. She tried to save. Do you remember all that? And it all was a hoax because she wanted some attention. All because, and what do I have highlighted that this Rebecca said? 2009, addicted to emotional support she received, adding she didn't know how to stop. It's without a doubt Rebecca, sorry. So, Shanda, you believe it's Rebecca. I do too. I mean, I'm not saying it is because I haven't found proof. But I also haven't found proof that these are two different Rebeccas. And the ages kind of add up. Because remember, Rebecca's 41, I guess now. This is 2009, so she would have been in her 20s. So it adds up. And this is something that Rebecca is doing to this day. She got on that TV and cried out. Fake tears, but she cried out. I think the baby looks like the brother that passed away. Ooh. Oh. What if it wasn't Jake's kid after all? We ever think about that? What if that was the brother or somebody else in the family? I mean, this family's so crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if there's incest going on. I'm not lying to you. This family's insane. I would not be surprised. Was the baby a doll? Yes. So in the article in 2009 that I brought up here, I'm answering Sanda's question. The pregnant mommy blogger, yes. She never posted, she was posting pictures of ultrasounds, posting pictures of doctor's appointments, posting all these pictures. But then when she finally had the baby, she posted a picture and come to find out the picture of that baby was a doll, a lifelike doll. Jake's brother had a baby. He might have. Like I said, I'm going to go back on tonight and I'm going to do some more research on this. And no, he didn't live there. Hector did not live there. Supposedly he lived somewhere else. because his address, but we don't know for sure because, like I said, that's a family house. So he could have been staying there. I mean, 30 because we keep dying over here. The battery keeps dying. The battery keeps dying. So we are back. We are definitely back. So is she setting up Jake for whatever reason? You know what? It's funny. I think that Jake will eventually try and turn on Becca. And then if Becca is addicted to this emotional support, she's going to get in her mind, well, if I play the victim, I think they're going to end up turning on each other. Because Jake's lawyer already said, I don't represent Rebecca. Remember that? He already said, I don't represent Rebecca, so I can't. So right there off the bat, we know Jake is not trying to help her out. So I think they're going to end up turning on each other. And they're both probably going to play the victim. And you know what's going to happen? They're both hopefully going to go to jail. Hopefully when they go to jail, they both hopefully are not going to be in protective custody. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Jake go to jail, he ain't going to survive if they keep him in general population. He going to get his lunch taken, his food taken, his commissary taken. Because even though they're all prisoners, they're all inmates, believe it or not, for those of you that have never been to jail or prison, there is a code of conduct for people inside of jail. And there's certain people that they don't like. And one, they don't like anybody that commits a crime against a kid at all. Because kids are innocent. They don't like you. They do not like you at all. Half those people end up being in protective custody. And they don't like thieves. They really don't. They don't like a thief. They don't like somebody who's stealing $50 from another person. Because we all out here doing bad, you know. Now, if you're out here doing white collar crime and you stole $1 million from a big company, you're okay. But let's say you in there for stealing $100 from a single mom down the street, you're not okay. Rebecca's not going to be okay because you know how many women that are locked up? A lot of people don't think about this. There's a lot of women that are locked up that wish they can be out with their kids. There's even women who are locked up who are pregnant, wishing that when they give birth, they could be with their baby. Maybe they're having a long sentence. Maybe they just got sentenced, so they're going to give birth, and then their baby has to go into the foster child system or with a family member. So a lot of women are going to look at Rebecca, jealousy, resentment, hatred, all that. So Rebecca's not going to live either, or I should say, she's not going to do good either. They're both of them. So let's cross our fingers. And you know what? I really don't wish jail on people. I really don't wish people to go to prison. But when it comes to certain things in life, certain crimes like this, especially what Jake has been doing, what he did to his daughter, those people do not deserve to walk among us. You know? And I told you earlier, I don't like to judge people. But some individuals do not deserve to walk among us. And that's just the fact. They don't deserve it. Because why? He got away with the first time, and he almost could have got away with this time. Imagine if they never would have reported him missing. Think about that. What if they never reported him missing? Supposedly nobody's seen this kid. The grandma was like, we ain't seen him. So there's no pictures of the kid with anybody else. Imagine if they never reported him missing. We would not be talking about this. It could have been going on for a long time. A long time. Until maybe somebody could have, wait, what happened to, didn't you guys give birth to a kid? What happened to that kid? Where's the kid at? I mean, nobody saw the kid, right? All they're going to say is, Emmanuel, what happened to the man? Did you? Oh, he's at home with the babysitter. Oh, he's with the nanny. Oh, he's with some cousin that's in Idaho right now. I mean, it could have been going on this forever. No, none of the family members were important enough to see him while he was alive. And none of the family members felt it was important enough, I guess, for them to go visit while he was alive. So what makes them feel important enough to go visit afterwards? So if you ask me, they probably would have been better off not even reporting it, just going off about their day and just did what they did and keep going and keep it going. They probably would have been better off. But no, what had happened? What happened? Like Rebecca in 2009, what'd she say? She was addicted to the emotional support she received at it, and she didn't know how to stop. So she had to make a report and cry on the news. Does this go deeper? Are police or officials involved? And that's why no Amber Alert and why the police haven't sent. Now, the reason why there was no Amber Alert, I did read about this, or I came across it. What did they say? There actually is a reason why there was no car involved. That's what it was. I think in order for an Amber Alert, the kid has to be a car involved. Because usually when they do an Amber Alert, if you look at all of them, they say this kid has been taken by this person, this is the car, and maybe the plate number. I think that was why they didn't do an Amber Alert. So they had to do a missing kid report. And what Jake's lawyer said was the police didn't officially do a flyer. That flyer was done by Jake and Rebecca. There's nothing wrong with righteous judgment. Wrong with righteous judgment. Criminals need to be in prison. Yeah, especially those type. I've been saying this. Why would they report him missing if they were trying to erase his existence? If there's no pictures of him in the house, they supposedly took no blankets. Supposedly when they went in the house, it was like they never had a kid. No toys, no nothing. If she was changing his diaper in the truck, where's the diaper? Where are the Pampers? Where's the bottles? Where's the Enfamil? I want to see receipts for Enfamil. I want to see receipts for diapers. I want to see receipts for toys. I want to see receipts for baby clothes. Was there no, what do you call it? I can't think of, was there, no, is there a picture of Rebecca pregnant? Somebody show me a picture of Rebecca. Send me a link to a picture of Rebecca that's pregnant. Somebody show me a picture of her pregnant with Emmanuel, that is. And what the date and the year is. There's nothing out there. What is really going on? There was a 2-year-old when she went to Big Five. Where was the 2-year-old? Good question. Where was the 2-year-old when she went to Big Five? I feel like I'm watching a criminal series. This really is a criminal series. Let's see here. The other children will spill the tea, especially the 2-year-old. You know what? I wonder, though, if and I hate to say this, I wonder if the 2-year-old is in the right state of mind to even say anything. We know what happened with the kids before. Oh, man, the Ola statement came off a movie. Bingo! In another article in 2009 about Rebecca, it says she was a social worker in Chicago. Yes, and it says that she was outside of Illinois somewhere. Now, I did read that Rebecca has family in Missouri and Illinois and Texas. There's family in Illinois, Texas, and Missouri. So who's to say she could have been out there at that time doing this? We don't know. It's all fake. No photos, no baby, no clothes. Yeah, how were Jake and Rebecca's capable of getting rid of the police security, recording around the house everywhere, even on the cloud? I mean, you guys are coming up with some good questions. And these are the same questions I have. But listen, I'm going to go. I got to go do some more research. Thank you guys for supporting. I'm going to go do some more research. I'm going to come back here live probably by the next 3 or 4 hours. And I'm going to do some more research. I'm going to look up the court dates, the exact filing. I'm going to do I'm going to go see if I can even do deeper research to see if this is the same Rebecca that posted the fake baby doll or if it's not. I'm going to spend a little more time to see if I can come up with anything on this. If you guys have anything, let me know. You guys have been great. This is Fugitive TV. I'm going to talk with y'all later. And hey, we are out.